save that one till the end and then you can decide whether it's worth it or not. So Streetwise marketing. We've got 45 minutes to talk about marketing. Now, it's a bit of a dark art, isn't there? And there's quite a lot to marketing. But I think my purpose for today is to try and get you to think a little bit differently about it, hopefully. Because we can't obviously cover everything to do with marketing. So I'm just going to try and cover off some stuff to get you thinking differently, hopefully go away and taking some different actions. So does that sound okay as an agenda for the next 45 minutes? Everybody happy with that? Fantastic. Can everybody hear me at the back, by the way? Yeah, fantastic. So, just a matter of interest. What's marketing? How would you define marketing? You have to feed back at my sessions, by the way. You don't get to just sit there. So what's marketing? How would you define it? Getting your brand out there. Fantastic, thank you. What else? Communication, brilliant, thank you. And any others?
Showcasing your actual work.
Yeah. Any others?
Awareness.
Great, thank you. And lots of things. For me, marketing is about two things. Communication, you mentioned it. Education, which is what a lot of the other people around the room have alluded to. What does that mean? It's about letting people know, first of all, what's available. What are the benefits of actually buying that? What to buy, how to choose, most importantly, how to buy from you. Because that's what we want people to do, isn't it? Buy from you. Now, here's where I want to reframe this for you. Marketing isn't just about advertising. Marketing isn't just about the front end. For me, when I talk with my clients, marketing is about the whole customer experience. So marketing starts well before the first sale and continues all the way through your process. And this is the way I want you to think about marketing. If you think about your sort of average prospect, if you like, when they come to buy from you, they don't understand what you do most of the time. If you think about going to a dentist, there's a great story about a guy called Paddy Lundy. He's an Australian dentist. He talks about, in his surgery, he's got an amazing X-ray machine and a coffee machine. Okay? He's a bit different. Go and look him up. It's a brilliant story. All of the guys that come and shop with him don't talk about the best X-ray machine that he's got. They talk about his coffee machine, because that's the bit of the process that they understand. Does that make sense? So when somebody touches you for the first time, your process has got to reflect what you actually deliver to them when they buy, and that in itself is marketing. Your customer experience has to be consistent all the way through. Little wow factors, consistency, easy to buy. People have to know what they're going to buy from you before they buy it in terms of their experience. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So is anybody thinking slightly differently about marketing yet? No. Is anybody? No. Right. So for me, what I wanted to get you to think about is not just the attracting new people into your business, but also working with the people that you've already got. How does that work? Think about FedEx as an example. They make a promise, then they back it up with their process. Okay? So marketing is about the promise, and the internal mechanics of your business are about the process to actually back up that marketing promise. This is where consistency needs to happen. You can't make a promise and then not deliver on it. So what's marketing really about? Well, we might like more customers, probably want more turnover, but we definitely want more profits. So for me, the purpose of marketing is actually to drive profit. That's what we want in our business, isn't it? More and more profit. So I'm going to show you the 5 ways to super profits, and then we're going to link this all together from a marketing perspective. Now, there are only 3 things there. I can count. Customers, revenue, profit. We can't influence those things directly. So what can we influence? First of all, number of leads. That's our marketing. Conversion rate. That's our sales process working for us. So number of leads times conversion rate equals number of customers. Is everybody happy with that so far? Mm-hmm. Then we take our number of customers and we work out the number of transactions. How many times do they buy from us? On average, some may buy once, some might buy 10 times. Then our average sale. You might have a 10 grand sale, you might have a £10 sale, but there will be an average in your business. That gives us our turnover or revenue. And then our margins at the bottom to give us our profit. The things in blue are the 5 things that we can influence. And all of those things form part of your marketing. Why? Because they're internal to your business, they're part of your delivery, and marketing to get customers to shop more and more with you is as important, if not more, than getting new people in at the top end. So if we were looking at leveraging those 5 ways, where would we go first? What would be the number one thing we'd concentrate on? What would be the first thing we'd want to know? Which of the 5 ways would we go to first? So the five ways are the things in blue. Leads, conversion rate, number of transactions, average sale, profit margins. Right. Thank you. Which is, guess what? When I asked this question at a seminar, how many people do you think say number of leads? Most of them. And it's actually the last place we'll go. So let me show you the order that we deal with this in. Number 1, profit margins. Why? Would you want to market an unprofitable product? So do you know the margins of all the products and services that you sell within your business? Second place we go, conversion rate. How many leads do you actually convert? Do you measure your conversion rate? Hands up who measures their conversion rate. 30% of the room. Of the people who measure their conversion rate, is anybody 100%? Okay. So you don't need more leads necessarily right now. You can just convert more of the ones that you're already getting. Yeah? You don't have to go to the market and spend money yet because you can make your internal processes work better to convert more leads that you're already getting. Does that make sense? So conversion rate is the next thing. First thing you've got to do to change your conversion rate is measure it. Measure it. Same with your margins. If you want to learn more about conversion rate, by the way, Sales Made Simple this afternoon. I'm sure you're going to get that from other speakers today, but I'm going to do a sales session this afternoon. Third place we go, number of transactions, average sale. It doesn't really matter which order you do them in. Let's get people back, buying more often, and sell more to them. What do you think is the most profitable question in the world? Would you like fries with that? Do you want to go large? Yeah? What does that do to McDonald's average sale? How much extra do you think that adds to their revenue just by asking that one question? What's your fries with that question in your business? There'll be one. The last place we go is number of leads. Why? Because in the most part, it costs money. Now, why would you want to spend money when you're not maximising the internal processes that you already have? Is anybody thinking differently about marketing yet? Yes. Thank you. Phew. Okay. So we need to drill into this a little bit. I want to show you the numbers, though, of the power of this, how it works. So, the 5 ways. Here we go. Just imagine 4,000 leads a year. And it doesn't matter what the numbers are, by the way, because it works, whatever the numbers are. The first thing you need to do, though, is know your numbers. Number of leads, 4,000. At a conversion rate of 25% gives you 1,000 customers. Okay? Each customer, on average, comes back and buys from you twice and spends £100. So that gives you a 200 grand turnover. Everybody happy with the numbers so far? 25% margin, 50 grand on the bottom line. Okay? So now what we're looking to do, after we've tested and measured these 5 areas, is start to leverage them. So first of all, understand your margins. What can you do to influence your margin? There's a real easy one, isn't there? Put your prices up. Is anybody complaining about your prices right now? How many people have got people complaining about prices? 1 or 2. What percentage of people would be complaining about prices? Very low. So could you put your price up? Yeah, because if people aren't complaining about prices, you're too cheap. And guess who does complain about prices? The ones you probably don't want to buy from you anyway, because they're the pain in the backside customers, aren't they? We've all got those. We'll sort of full circle this later, by the way. So think about how you can influence your margins just by making a few small tweaks. Would it be possible? Yeah, of course it would. Then your conversion rate, go measure it. Would it be possible to get a 10% increase in your conversion rate, for example, by, first of all, measuring it? You measure your conversion rate, I guarantee it goes up. What happens when you measure anything? It changes. Just by measuring it, your conversion rate will change. Write down the objections that you get, i.e. why people don't buy from you, and then put them into your sales process. Who's got a sales process, by the way? Okay, couple, fantastic. How can you measure it if it's not consistent? Just by putting some stuff into your sales process to actually position your objections away, people will stop objecting about it. What about if you had a USP, a unique point of sale that actually you talked with your customers about? More about that in a second. What about if you just asked people to come back? What about if you had a fries with that question? So what we're looking to do is influence each of those numbers by 10%. That's all. So we only need 10% more leads. You can do that by introducing a few more marketing strategies, whatever. More about that later too. But we only want a 10% increase in each of those areas. And this is all marketing. So if we get a 10% increase in each of those areas, how much will the profit change by? What percentage? Who thinks 10%?
35.
How much? Okay, let's run through it. So, we test and measure our marketing. We find out what's working. We maybe implement a few extra marketing strategies. Could we get a 10% increase on our leads? It's not massive, is it? We'll talk about defining target market later, which will be how we get that 10% increase, by the way. Who asks for referrals? Quick show of hands. Who asks? Look around the room. 10%. You know, when you ask for them, do you get them? Interesting. There are lots of nodding heads for the people with their hands up. There might be a tip for you today. Ask for referrals. We're just not very good at it. Just by asking for referrals, you might get that 10% uplift in leads. Then we go into conversion rate. We're not looking to take it from 25 to 35. We're looking to take it from 25 to 27.5. You could get that just by measuring it. I guarantee it. You know, I've got clients who've doubled their conversion rate and more. And by the way, if you measure your conversion rate and it's real low, don't be upset about it. What an opportunity. If you've got 80%, there's not a long way to go. But if you're at 10%, wow, what's the scope? You're only converting 1 out of every 10 leads that you're getting. So you could 1,000-fold your business, 1,000% your business with the leads you've got. Could we get people, on average, to come back and buy 10% more? Just ask them. And some of them will. Communicate with them via a newsletter or whatever it is. They will come back and buy. If you want the list of 5-way strategies, by the way, we've got 350 across the 5 ways. Drop me an email. My email's at the end, and I'll send you the list with pleasure. Or go onto Amazon and buy Instant Cash Flow. $9.99, I think it is. It's got the full 350 strategies in there, whichever suits you best. Put your prices up. Ask the fries with that question. Think about making it easy for people to buy. Put a checklist in place. You know, you bought that. Do you need? This is all marketing. This is all your internal process. Helping people to buy, giving people great service. That is all marketing. And then our margin, 27.5%. That can come through price increase, it can come through cost reduction, it can come through buying smarter, it can come through marketing your more profitable products. So 10% on each of those areas. Who thinks that's feasible? 10%. Yeah, well, I've got clients who've doubled each of those areas and more, okay? So let me show you the result of this. 80,525. 50. Can let you off for the 50. 61% increase. That's a 61% increase in your profit. Now, if you think about the purpose of marketing is to drive profit, why wouldn't you be focusing on all of the 5 areas rather than just leads? Three of my clients last year did 300% on the bottom line. 300%. They tripled their profit in a year, not by doing anything particularly special, right? It's not rocket science, this stuff. But the first thing you have to do is know your numbers. Has anybody got some actions coming out of today so far? Yeah. Good. Right. If you do that for 3 years, by the way, oh wow, that's a different business. Real different business. It's exciting, isn't it? Anybody excited? I'm excited. I love this stuff. So now I'm going to take you back to marketing a little bit, but it still links to the 5 ways. Has anybody ever seen the ladder of loyalty? Yeah? Let me talk you through the ladder of loyalty. We start down at the bottom, suspect. Yeah, you have a lot to write in my seminars, by the way. We start at the bottom, suspect, somebody who's potentially in your target market. Next level up, prospect. So this is about leads, getting leads, qualifying them. So a prospect, the next level up, is somebody whose details you've collected and who has shown some kind of interest in buying from you. Okay? This is the number of leads bit at the top. This is the marketing, attracting new customers into your business. This is the real tough bit. Well, it is, isn't it? So as we go up the ladder, we get a shopper. This is about conversion. This is about your sales process. So from prospect to shopper is about conversion, getting somebody to come and buy from you just once. Once they bought from you once, they're a shopper. You've got their details. By the way, does everybody collect the details of people who buy from them so they can put them on a database?
Yeah.
Thank goodness for that. If you don't, do. Next, we go from shopper to customer. Customer is somebody who's come back and bought from you again, so it's about number of transactions. How can you do that? Ask them to come back. I've already given you a couple of options. Ask them to come back, put them on a newsletter, communicate with them, talk with them. By the way, what's the main reason customers leave you? Any ideas?
Ask them to put like another appointment or one of their
Absolutely.
So we
Yeah.
do, we have it on our system, it automatically prompts you. To
Fantastic.
So,
And what happens then?
they go, yeah, might as well as I'm here.
There you go. So if you ask them, they generally do. This is all about making it easy for people to buy. That's the whole purpose of marketing and your process. Make it easy for people to buy. Very simple. So we're looking at increasing the number of transactions and getting them to come back. Next level up, member. Who's got one of those club card things or nectars or yeah, brilliant. So once you get people as members, you understand their shopping habits, you can make them better offers, they come back and they spend more often usually. So what does your members kit look like? What does your members kit look like? If I was a member of your business, what would I get? Why would I feel special?
Free shit.
Could be. You might want to bleep that one. And then the next level up is about leads again. So right now we're working the internal elements of the 5 ways. We're talking about conversion rate, we're talking about number of transactions, we're talking about average sale. But now we're back to leads. An advocate is somebody who, when prompted, will go out and talk about your business. So then people come shop with you. They are your marketing machine. So that's nice. But this is better. Raving fans. Has anybody got raving fans of their business? Yeah? What are you doing with them? Because these are the guys, when they bring you a lead, you can be damn sure that that lead buys from you. Would that be fair? Right. So what's your raving fan program look like? What are you doing to get people up that ladder to become a raving fan of your business? And why wouldn't you? Because they're already buying and they already love you. So they're your marketing machine. They're going to bring you loads of people. Paddy Lund, go back and look at him. I've already mentioned him once today. He has a by invitation only dental practice and only his A-grade customers, and he only has A-grade customers, by the way, but by invitation, he allows people to refer to him. And you get a special little business card holder, and you say, congratulations, you're one of my best customers. You're now allowed to refer my business. How cool's that? So who are your raving fans? Is that a question at the back? So.
Very, I mean, it might be me that's missing the point, but if you are dealing with wedding people,
Yep.
they're not going to come back unless they get...
Have they got families?
So what do you...
Have they got families? Friends?
Yeah, that's a long time. They're not actually going to come back themselves, are they?
Doesn't matter. If you think about 6 degrees of separation, allegedly we're 6 handshakes from anybody in the world, so how many people do they know? Friends, family, community, work, networks.
So that's what you mean by coming back?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you can, you might only manage to get them to shop with you once, absolutely. So the 5 ways is all about understanding what your 5 ways looks like. If it's a once, unless they go get divorced and then come back, I suppose. Who knows? 42% apparently, isn't it? But so let's assume it's once, or 1.5 at 42%. But they've got this other bunch of people that you can influence. Can you still sell more to them? Can you still make better margin out of them? And can you still generate leads from them? Absolutely. So there's still 4 areas of the 5 ways that you can influence, even though the other one's only once. Does that make sense? Yeah? Great. And these guys, are they raving fans? So why shouldn't they bring you leads? If you're looking for more leads, get them to bring you leads. So what does your ideal customer look like? Do you know what an A-grade customer looks like for your business? Because the more you know about what an A-grade customer looks like, guess what? The easier it is to get them. The easier it is to go talk with your raving fans and say, I'd like somebody like you to come shop with me. Because I think you're brilliant. How much do you think that costs? Not a lot. So run through your customer list and work out who your A-grade customers are. Okay, if they only shop with you once, you've still got the opportunity to keep in touch with them. You've still got the opportunity to generate leads from them. If you've had a pain in the backside come shop with you, do you want leads from them? Probably not. So don't ask them. It's all about measurement. Again, you know, what are your criteria for an A-grade client? It may be the amount they spend with you. It may, I don't know. You'll know this. It's your business. I'm only here to show you the tool. So what's an A-grade customer look like for you? Because when we go to the market, when we actually think about lead generation, who do we want? A-grade customers for our business. Why? Because if they're A-grade customers for our business, they're probably easy to deal with. They probably convert better. They probably spend more. So your whole 5 ways is leveraged anyway. Yeah? %20 of your customers will bring 80% of your profits. Has everybody come across the 80-20 rule? 20% of your customers will bring 80% of your headaches. Have you found that one too? Yeah? That's life. But the clearer you are on who's a great customer, the easier it is to deal with more of them. That's the point. So, we want to get, I am going to talk with you about leads now, so we want to go out and get more customers. The 3 most important parts of any marketing campaign is this: the target, being the people that you talk to, the offer, being the offer that you make to them, and the copy, being the words that you use. Which do you think is the most important? Bottom. So who thinks copy? Quick show of hands. Right, okay, hands down. Offer. Target. Who's not going to put the hand up no matter what I say? Okay. Target, if you were going to grade these on a score of out of 10, target is number 10. Offer is 5. The words you use, 1 out of 10. Why? Let's think about this. Let's say I write a fantastic advert and I say, I'm going to pay you pension contributions for the next 5 years if you join me up, and then I put it in a student magazine. Do you think I'm going to get many leads? No. So I could have the best advert with a great offer, but if I got the wrong target, not a chance. Not a chance. So we've got to know who our target is. By the way, when you think about putting an advertising or any marketing campaign together, let's say you've got 16 hours, right? 16 hours. How are you going to choose to allocate the time, do you think? 10 hours on target, 5 hours on offer, 1 hour on copy.
What if your target audience is quite varied though? Because ours is, because we have people from all walks of life, all age groups, all
Niche it.
ranges, everything.
So does the same offer relate to all of your target?
Yeah, really.
Okay.
What we do, because it's sort of female in general, because we run a beauty and hair salon. So obviously we have people come in that are in their, right up from like in their 70s, right down to like 16
Yep.
to 15-year-olds. So
But will they want different things?
not necessarily.
Not
we
necessarily.
offer, yeah.
Well, the answer to your question, go back and think about this and think about how you can niche it down. Because a 70-year-old is going to read and come into contact with different stuff to a 35-year-old, aren't they? So if the offer's the same, great. But the question of how do you get to them, that'll be different.
Okay.
So
It's still target, but you have
absolutely.
all of them independent.
So you've still got to start with the target. Now, if you get to them the same way, that's great, but at least you've started from target.
Yeah.
But I would suggest that a 35-year-old and a 70-year-old aren't quite the same target market.
No, but they're having the same, they're having
The
the
end
same
result's
treatments.
the same.
Yeah, they're having
Sure.
the same treatments within the salon.
target's
So
the
obviously,
Yeah,
I
agree.
don't particularly want to discriminate and offer one sort of offer for one and one for another, because that's not how we've worked, and it's worked quite well for us. So I'm just saying, in general, for us speaking, if our target audience isn't, we're not selling wedding dresses, so your average target audience is obviously going to be sort of 20 to 40-year-olds. Ours isn't. Ours is obviously a much broader market.
Yep.
So.
It just means more marketing because you're having to target
That's right.
independently to different
That's right.
Nursing home magazine and a student magazine.
Absolutely. Getting to grips with your target is the most important. And okay, you might be talking about a lot of breadth in your market, but then take it back to who are your raving fans? What does an A-grade customer look like? So, you know, does somebody at 40, let's say, just to pick an age, spend more often than somebody at 70?
I would like to say yes, but they don't not necessarily our clients.
Not necessarily.
Quite
Okay.
repetitive regardless of their age.
Can you see how deep we need to go into
Yeah.
this? So you've got to ask the questions to get to the right answer for your business. Okay? You've got to understand, what does an A-grade customer look like? What does an A-grade customer want to buy? Now, if you've got a couple of different target groups of A-grade customers, then that's great. But you've got to understand what they want to buy so you can make them the right offer. And then the words you use to make them that offer, they're the least important part. So I'm not actually going to talk with you about writing great ads today, because that's a whole nother scope of stuff. What I want to get you thinking about is who and what. So the target, take it back to the guys you've already got. Who are your raving fans? They're likely to be A-grade customers. So what do they want to buy from you? Why are you different for them? What's your USP, unique selling proposition, for these guys that you want more of? How do you think you can find that out? Sorry? Ask them. It's that easy. Who does customer surveys? Anybody? Couple, yeah. If you look around the room, that wasn't very many. You've got guys who shop with you already. Why do they buy from you? What makes you unique in their eyes? If you've got loyal customers, why do they keep coming back? Because I tell you, when you ask them, what you're going to find is some common themes. And then what can you do? Talk about the common themes to get more people like them. You will learn so much from a customer survey, I guarantee it. And, you know, another great question to ask them when you do this is this thing called Net Promoter Score. Based on a score of 1 to 10, how likely would you be to refer us? or to recommend us. If it's a 9 or a 10, they're a promoter. Great. Well, then who could you recommend us to? If it's a below 5, 6, 7, 8, what do we need to do to get it to a 10? Because if you're below a 10, you're going to lose them at some point. There's a way to increase your number of transactions.
A lot of people don't really want to find out the truth.
Yeah, it's called fear.
That's why they don't do business with us.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. So ask them. Just go ask the question. And then you can put it right if there's something wrong. Keep them longer. Pretty much turn them into a raving fan. There's a great opportunity to turn somebody into a raving fan. Wow, they addressed that for me. They're really cool. I could bring my friends along. It's just not complex stuff, this. You just got to think a bit more. Take it back, know your numbers, understand what your A-grade customer looks like, understand what your raving fans look like, and work out how to nurture them. So they'll tell you what your unique selling points are. And then all you've got to do is talk about it. And that's your offer. So you've already defined your target and your offer. The words you use then, you've already got them anyway because your customers have given them to you. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So what should a successful USP be? Truly unique. Okay, it may not be one thing, but when your A-grade customers give you a combination of stuff, that's like the recipe for your business, isn't it? Why they come back and buy from you. That could be unique for you. And by the way, you might be the only one talking about it. There might be other people who do that, but you might be the only one talking about it. Think back to Mercedes, you know, their 120-point safety checklist. Well, BMW might have had a 150-point safety checklist. They just didn't talk about it. They talked about the ultimate driving experience instead. So it's just about what you talk about. What are you teaching your clients? Education, communication. Back to the first slide. Exciting. Well, if your current raving fan A-grade customers are excited by it, then people like them probably will be too. Something that will get people talking. And something that can't easily be copied. Well, that's your recipe, isn't it? That's your recipe, where your promise meets your process. Because the whole idea behind this is you've got to deliver on it. We talked about it. Under promise and over deliver. Under promise and over deliver every time. So we all want profitable marketing. Your accountant will tell you that marketing is an expense. Why? Because it sits on your P&L. So it's an expense. But marketing shouldn't be an expense. Marketing should be what? An investment. An investment. So how do we know? How do we know if it's an investment or an expense? Profit, absolutely. We've got to do that. We've got to test it and we've got to measure it and find out what marketing works. Because if you do a number of different marketing strategies, do you know which ones work best for you? So what exactly are you measuring? So let's have a look at this. Well, first of all, marketing's maths, isn't it? If I stood here with a tenner at the front of the room and said, if you give me a fiver, you can have this tenner, how many times would you do it? How many times? Unlimited, right? That's all you got to work out with your marketing. How to have a fiver and get a tenner back. So the first thing we want to know is this, acquisition cost. How much does it cost you to buy a customer? That's what we do. We buy customers with marketing. Depending on the strategy you use, there will be a different cost, an acquisition cost we call it. So a referral may be free. If you put magazine adverts, then you might get a number of leads. We'll go through that in a second. There'll be a cost to it. Then what you've got to understand is lifetime value. So if somebody comes and shops with you once, then the lifetime value is pretty easy to calculate. However, if they generate you referrals, your lifetime value starts to expand, doesn't it? Because if anybody comes and shops with you once but then refers 10 people, the lifetime value of that client has just gone up. So how well do you measure this stuff to understand? Because this is the thing where we focus on First of all, reducing acquisition cost and increasing lifetime value. So instead of me now saying, here's a £5, or here's a £10, give me a £5 for it, I'm now going to say, here's a £10, give me £1 for it. How many times are you going to do that? But you've got to measure the stuff. So how much do you measure? If we look at this, you've got 2 ads. They cost £1,000 each. Let's run through number 1. For advert A, costs you £1,000, you get 1,000 leads. So it's £1 per lead. You get 10 sales out of it. So cost per sale is £100. Okay, £1 a lead, but £100 per sale. The average sale is £500. You make £200 on it. Lifetime value, 2,000, 10 referrals. So it costs you £100 to generate £200 in profit. B, same cost, 1,000, gets you 100 leads, so £10 each, so the leads are more expensive. But you get 50 clients, 50 customers from it, so £20 a client. Who spend £1,000 with you, and it generates £200, so same margin. Their lifetime value, 10 grand, they only bring you 2 referrals. Which advert are you going to run? Which advert?
B.
Why not both?
Both.
Why not both? They both make you money. They both put £5 in, get £10 back, or some ratio they're in, aren't they? If you've got 2 ads, they might be generating you different numbers throughout, but they're both making you money, so run both. But then there might be an ad where it costs you £1,000 and you don't get any leads. But how do you know which is which? This is where you've got to test and measure. Okay?
How do you actually find that? Because I find advertising, you ask people, how did you hear about it or whatever, they often can't remember. And so how do you know if your advertising is effective?
Do you know what advertising you're doing?
Yes.
Okay. So could you give them some options? Would they be likely to remember if you prompted them?
I don't think so.
Have you tried it?
Say something like,
Have you tried it?
no, I haven't.
Okay, then we're talking about assumption. I like evaluation, test and measure. Go back and ask the question. And then come back and tell me it didn't work. Is that okay? But, sorry, this is what I do with all my clients, by the way. You're a client now. You can't make the assumption about this stuff. You've got to go and try it.
Can you be over-advertising in that case then? If
Quite
you can't-
possibly.
If you can't identify which one, narrow it down, then you potentially...
If you can't identify it, you'll never get to investment versus expense.
Otherwise, you're putting in an advert, something that's direct.
Yeah.
Off and off. Like
Absolutely.
The offer.
With a coupon code or something like that. Or a specific offer, yes.
I've found the same as that lady over there, that sometimes when you ask people, they'll go, oh yeah, through your, oh I found you through the website, and I was like, oh okay, so that's how we just seem to find that.
Yeah.
They assume it's from the website, but it's then finding out whether they Googled it or whether they found the website in a magazine, and then it's what magazine, and before you know, you feel like you're giving them the Spanish Inquisition.
Sure.
Yeah.
So think about advertising, think about doing it in a different way. Get them to bring a coupon or a code or something like that with a specific offer attached to it,
Okay.
because then you can narrow down what worked. Sorry?
Different codings.
Absolutely.
Website.
Absolutely. There are ways around this stuff. You just have to think a bit more. Okay? So, does that make sense to everybody? Everybody happy so far? So then the final thing I want to talk to you about is when you were thinking about marketing, lots of people have a marketing strategy that looks like this, a diving board. Okay? It's built on one leg. You go up real fast, but then what happens? You come down pretty fast as well, don't you? This was my business about six and a half years ago. I ran telemarketing because I was just busy. And then this thing called a recession started and telemarketing stopped working. How many leads was I now getting? None. None. Because I'd stopped doing the other stuff because I got busy. So you can't just run one marketing strategy. You have to think about, so here's the way to do it. Pick one, test and measure it. Get it working. Employ somebody to do it, because you've now systemized it. And then go for the next one. Why not systemize one marketing strategy per quarter? Because once you've systemized it and you've got your numbers, you can work out how many leads an employee needs to generate for you to pay their way. then it's gone. Then you've got consistent marketing. So what we talk about is a 10 by 10 marketing strategy. Your diving board's underpinned. It's based on solid foundations. 10 marketing strategies bringing 10% of your leads. So if one falls over, you're still getting 90% of your leads. 10 may be too many. You may only need 6, but you certainly need more than 1. Okay? And the way to get underneath this is test and measure it, test and measure, test and measure, systemize, test and measure, optimize. Okay? So, any questions?
Would you suggest then, so if you've got like, we run sort of 2 or 3 adverts of local magazines.
Yeah.
Would you say it would be a good idea to put a code with each one
Yeah.
to see which one works the best and then
Absolutely.
drop whatever one's not working for you?
Did everybody hear the question? Right. So the question was, if you're running 2 or 3 adverts with different magazines, would you put an independent code with each of them and then test and measure it and drop the one that wasn't working?
The code has to come with an offer, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could do even if it's the same offer but with a different code. couldn't
So,
you? Like
absolutely.
The first 3 letters
So,
of the magazine
yep.
plus 10 or something, couldn't you?
So same offer, different code to find out which magazine's working. And then all you've got to do is know those numbers, acquisition cost versus lifetime value. Because if you're getting return on investment from all 3, run all 3.
Oh yeah, but if you've got one,
But if you've got one
that
that-
get anything from it, just be worth
Yep.
like then looking into other avenues with that money that you've set aside.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Get them to bring the voucher.
Yep.
Yeah.
Out the paper and
Yeah.
take it with you.
We get a lot of people who quote it as well, so you could put it on the we've got a system where you can put the quote the code,
Yep.
so they can just put that on.
Any other questions? No. Okay. Then can you take a minute to fill in the feedback forms on the table in front of you, please, so that we can optimise and test and measure. And that's all I've got for you today. The most important thing about all this stuff is you've got to take it and you've got to do something with it. And if you have any questions, there's my details. Please feel free to drop me an email. Thanks for your time.